What's up everyone on the internet? Thank you for making this video party. I'm so excited to upload this one for you guys because for this video we'll be taking a look at my very first Studio Ghibli film that I finally had time to watch, and that's Kiki's Delivery Service. So when I first got HBO Max, I was scrolling through some of their anime and came across this movie that dates back to my childhood. Okay, before I go any further, let me tell you a little story. When I was a kid growing up in the 90s, I remember watching the Pokemon movie religiously, and one of the things that I remember from that movie is that on the VHS it had a trailer for the re-release of Kiki's Delivery Service. Now, I wasn't able to watch that movie as a kid, but I do remember that back in the 2010s, Fathom Events did release that movie back in theaters for a one-night only event. And at that time, I wasn't into anime, so I pretty much dismissed it. But early this year, I did come across it on HBO Max, and I think that was the first thing added onto my watch list. And honestly, growing up, I never watched any Studio Ghibli films, so when I finally made time this year, I knew that this was going to be my first one. So Kiki's Delivery Service was released back in 1989, and the story follows a young witch named Kiki who had just turned 13. And as custom, when a witch turns 13, she has to leave her home for 1 year in order to find her place in this world. And our little witch is more than excited to take on the world as she and her black cat Gigi fly off into the night in order to find a place to settle. Well, she's always wanted to see the coast, so she takes off and heads to the city where she's pretty much a fish out of water. When she gets there, she finds out that she's practically the only witch and finds it just a bit difficult to adjust to city life. That is until she finds out that her flying skills can come in real handy in terms of finding a job, as she soon starts her own delivery service, hence the title. It's funny because when I first saw it, I was like, oh crap, she just created Amazon Prime. And one of the things that I really liked about this movie is that even though it's about a young witch, at the very core of it, the story is about finding your place and purpose in this world. Because when you watch the beginning of the movie, you see how this girl is very excited as she takes off and leaves home behind in order to make a life of her own. Another thing this movie points out is find the balance between your work and personal life. As we see in the film, while Kiki loves flying, flying for work and flying for fun are two different things. We also see that while most days at work are going to be good and fairly decent, there are going to be days that are not so good, and that can leave an impact on the rest of your day. Now, while some adults will just brush that off and move on with their day, for a kid, it can leave a negative impact on them. But when you're on your own, you need some of those moments as sort of a wake-up call in order to help you grow more as an adult. Speaking of which, one of the things that caught me off guard was what happens to Gigi in the third act of the film. Now, I know the film's been out for more than 3 decades, but I'm gonna try my best to not spoil anything for any of my younger viewers. With that being said, when I saw what happened to that black cat, I had to look it up to see if there was any meaning behind it, and that is where I found out that this was a sign showing everyone that Kiki was fine growing up. So if I had anything negative to say about this film, it would probably be what happens to Gigi, but after looking more into it, I can see that this sort of thing needed to happen in order to show more character development. One of the other things that also stood out from this film was the music. As you watch the movie, you can hear the soundtrack give off an Italian beach city vibe that gives you a sense of warmth and comfort that just makes you feel more relaxed. The music also works well when you see how this film is beautifully drawn out. Just looking at some of the buildings, roads, and trees, you can feel that this city has some age to it. And I also love that even though the city had a modern aspect to it because of all the cars driving by, the overall setting felt like it was sticking more to its traditional antique roots. Oh yeah, before I forget, there was one moment that almost made me tear up a bit, and it's when you see Kiki visit one of her customers, and oh my god, the delivery she has to make is just too kind. It just goes to show you that a little bit of kindness can go a long way. So overall, I loved Kiki's Delivery Service. Not only is this movie short and sweet, but it also carries a little bit of humor, some heartwarming moments, and several self-reflecting moments that just brighten up your day. And honestly, I can see myself rewatching this film every year from now with my mom. So if you're looking for something fun and uplifting to watch on HBO Max, go watch Kiki's Delivery Service. Well, that's gonna do it for this video, guys. That was my overall review for Kiki's Delivery Service. If you like what you saw, click the subscribe button so you can get the latest updates from this channel. I'll see you next time with a brand new video. Bye-bye.